You're watching Good Morning Carolinas on ABC 15 with Crystal Costa and Matt Barbour.
Take a look at this video here. It's of an Allegiant plane battling strong crosswinds from what was Tropical Storm Irma at Myrtle Beach International Airport. You see it trying to land, but it was twisting and teetering. Irma's wind was so strong the plane could not land. It had to be diverted along with dozens of other flights. The Myrtle Beach International Airport is open, but airlines are posting several delays and cancellations at this hour because of the remnants of Irma. Airport officials ask that you check with your airline, not the airport, for your flight status.
We do have team coverage across our area on Irma's impacts. We have Liz Cooper out live in Horry County for us, Sydney Glenn in Georgetown, and Amanda Kinseth has been on the South Strand. Now she's in Garden City. But first, we're going to get a check on your weather with Brittany Van Voorhees in our First Warning Weather Center.
Thanks so much, Crystal. So right now we do still have some rain across the area, and Irma, while it is continuing to weaken now a tropical depression, it is still a very big storm. Rain exceeding all the way from Arkansas to Virginia and then expanding into the New England states over the next few hours also, but very southern portions, of course, of those states. Right now, maximum sustained wind of 35 miles per hour. We are still seeing rain across our area, and that'll continue through much of the rest of this morning before most areas do dry out this afternoon. Here's a current look at live Doppler 15,000, most of the rain across our inland areas. Then the center of Irma moves into Alabama later today before moving into Tennessee as we head through late Tuesday and into Wednesday. Across our area, rainfall totals mainly near 1 to 3 inches of rain, so not a lot of flooding, but some ponding on the roadway still possible this morning.
Many district leaders say school will be back to normal today after there were closures because of the impacts of Irma. Horry County will be back today, but as for Georgetown County, schools will remain closed. Most PD schools are on a 2-hour delay this morning, with the very latest information and closings scrolling at the bottom of your screen throughout the newscast and as well at WPDE.com.
And an update, we're tracking the number of power outages for you this morning after Irma. Santee Cooper, you can see here a live look at the outage map. The company's reporting about 690 people without power right now in Horry and Georgetown counties. This is Duke Energy's outage map reporting about 2,500 customers without power throughout our area. If you look at the Electric Cooperatives of South Carolina map, it shows us just over 2,000 people in our area alone without power this Tuesday morning. There are thousands more without electricity across the state.
Well, 13 million people are without power in Florida after Hurricane Irma ripped through the state. Power companies are working around the clock to try and restore it.
ABC 15's Liz Cooper is live for us right now in Horry County as crews with Santee Cooper. We're actually going to head to Florida today to help out before people lost power here at home, right?
Yes, Crystal and Matt, that's right. Santee Cooper actually had about 5 crews ready to head out early this morning. Each of those crews consisting about 5 or 6 workers. But for now, their trip is actually put on hold. And like you said, that's because they're worried about taking care of our own damage from Irma right here in our area. Now, the spokesperson for Santee Cooper says their plan was to send these crews out first thing this morning. They're scheduled to work in Jacksonville and will relocate throughout the state of Florida where they're needed. Crews looking to head to Florida say volunteering for this job was an easy decision.
Anytime we get a chance to go help others, it's always a good thing. We had a bunch of line crews come during Matthew last year to help us out, bail us out. So anytime we can repay the favor, we're down for it.
When crews do head down to Florida, they're scheduled to be there for at least 10 days. But workers know there's a lot of devastation in the state, so it actually could be longer. These crews, you've got to keep in mind, they don't even know where they're staying, how they're going to get meals. They're just relying on some of the people in the community to help them out when they get down to that area. Now, the spokesperson for Santee Cooper actually just updated me a few minutes ago. She says, once again, these crews will be in our area maintaining the outages here first before they head to Florida. She says they will reevaluate around noon to decide when and if they will be heading down to Florida today. Reporting live here in Horry County, Liz Cooper, ABC 15 News.
All right, Liz, good to know. Maybe, hopefully, power can be restored by noon. Fingers crossed for those with outages this morning. And you should know the last time Santee Cooper sent crews outside of our state to assist was to New Jersey in 2012 for Hurricane Sandy.
Surfside Beach in Garden City saw its share of water make its way onto Ocean Boulevard and Waccamaw Drive as a result of Irma. ABC 15's Amanda Kinseth is live for us this morning in Garden City now with a look at how things are there. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Yeah, here's what you need to know for your drive to work or school this morning. In Surfside, we touched on ground crews have already been out cleaning up any fallen branches and clearing up those roadways. Here in Garden City, here's South Waccamaw Drive right here, and as you can see, it's fairly clear. There is some ponding on the roadway, but yesterday during the storm surge, this place was flooded. It is low tide right now, so that water has receded. You can see some of the sand has made its way onto the road, but if you remember last year during Hurricane Matthew, this was unpassable. You couldn't even get down the road because of all the sand, so we're looking a lot better than where we were during that hurricane, and everybody should be good to go on their way to work or school. In Garden City, Amanda Kinseth, ABC 15 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Glad to hear that, but still some cleanup to do. Garden City Inn is closed following extensive damage from Tropical Storm Irma. Horry County Emergency Management says siding from the inn tore off yesterday. You see that debris is scattered all across the parking lot and down the street. Employees say guests who were staying at the inn were relocated. The storm surge also made its way up to the building.
Front Street in Georgetown was underwater as well as impacts from Irma were seen in our area. ABC 15's Sydney Glenn has been in Georgetown County for a good 3 days now monitoring conditions. And right now, how's it looking out there in Georgetown? I know you're seeing some damage.
Definitely seen damage, but what's different is not a lot of water anymore. If you've been watching this morning, you've probably heard some loud sounds in the background thanks to this water pump. Well, why is it quiet now? It's because they just turned it off. They had it on since noon yesterday in preparation. They tell me that they do this whenever they're expecting some sort of big storm. What they did new this year, actually, though, is they built a sand wall about 2 feet high, hopefully to keep the storm surge out. Unfortunately, it was just too strong, and that did not work. A lot of businesses here on Front Street flooded, and a lot of damage and cleanup still to be had. For now, live in the city of Georgetown, Sydney Glenn, ABC 15 News.
All right, Sydney. Well, you were right. We've been hearing that water pump. Hopefully it's making a bit of a difference in filtering the water out of the downtown streets. And Front Street, you should know, Georgetown County just tweeted within the last hour that the causeways are now back open to Pawleys Island. Yesterday, Pawleys Island was cut off from the rest of the Grand Strand after water flooded both causeways. The area saw 40-mile-per-hour winds. Officials say a few homes there had to be evacuated. We still haven't been able to get to the other side to film some of the damage, but one man told us the erosion on the island is as bad as it was during Hurricane Matthew. Of course, Irma also caused some damage across the PD. Strong winds ripped up trees and knocked over power lines.
ABC 15's Rosalia Fodera has been following the damage across Florence and Darlington counties.
We're here on Sycamore Drive off West Palmetto Street in Florence, and I want you to take a look at Sycamore Drive. Now, there is a road there, but you can't tell where it ends and the parking lot starts because it's all water right now. And when we got here, we did not drive through this road. We saw 3 cars that did, which we don't recommend, and we saw 2 turn around. One made it about a few inches in and realized they weren't going to be able to make it and turned around. Earlier, we were on Sherwood Drive in Florence where a dead tree fell on a power line there and knocked power out for one home. Crews there tell us it took 2.5 hours to replace that transformer there. Neighbors say they heard the boom, but they weren't affected by that power outage there. Now, Duke Energy was reporting hundreds of power outages in our area. I talked to one guy who lives in Darlington, and he says he lost power earlier in the day on Monday, and he got a call from Duke Energy saying it wouldn't be restored until 2 p.m. today. In Florence, Rosalia Fodera, ABC 15 News.
Hundreds of people evacuating Florida found shelter in the PD, and businesses there say they felt the impacts. That's because many of the evacuees drove through Florence, stopping for gas or coffee. Some gas station employees in Florence tell us last weekend was much busier than a normal weekend. One worker told us they were 3 times busier than normal. Rains Hospitality in Florence says their 6 hotels were booked and almost all of their guests were evacuees. They say people started calling to book rooms last Tuesday. And some evacuees from Florida took shelter in Myrtle Beach as well. We spoke to the Ferrer family from Tampa. They stayed along Ocean Boulevard. They say they packed up as soon as they could and got out of Florida. The family says their home has minor damage, but say it could have been much worse. The family says friends of theirs had a tree fall on their roof.